Wedge? What's up, Owl? What's up, Rose? Good. Gonna start just a little bit. Go. I'll probably shout you out again later. Hopefully more folks pop in. Hey Josh. Let me bring myself in now. I think we got enough people to start. Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to stream. Name's sKGart, a toy maker, and oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Thanks, Owl, so much. See, is that BR Air Owl? Is that Brer Owl? Like Brer Bear? That's what I'm guessing. I always get streamer brain and forget how to read. Hype. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I like a mustache. How y'all doing tonight? Having a good night? Have you been having a good Valentine's Day? How was were you just doing RuneScape most of today, or did you do some more Hearthstone? Let's see. Brer is both Brier and Briere. Oh. Nice. Okay. Good to be able to say it better. Thank you for the education. But yeah, how were your games? How was your stream, Mr. Wedge? Jester Wedge? Or are you already lurking? Because I know you stream a lot. You have long days, man. You had a lovely day. Good. Amazing Valentine's Day. Nice. Yeah, Valentine's Day for me is always kind of interesting. By the way, ads are going to start in about 5 minutes. Let's see. It's a time to be alive. It certainly is. Yeah, so ads are going to start in a little bit less than 5 minutes. So thank you for getting here first. All you lovely folks that were rated in, and the wonderful Wedge. Hang through the ads. I'm going to at least bring us over to our scene for today. And bring in our girl. Here she is. And because it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to change my usual green color background to something more festive for the holiday. Let's see if I can change the range on that a little. There we go. Yeah. There we go. That's nice and pretty. Let's see, maybe I can pick a better paint color. It's a little harsh in my eyes. There we go. I like that. Woohoo! Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy with how she's looking. I think the detail pass is nice, and the base is kind of starting to get there. I did mess with the base a little bit between streams just to kind of figure out a little bit more of the shaping of these main parts. There are going to be more. I kind of decided what I'm going to do in order to suspend her, and that might change if I can figure out a better solution. But I am going to bring something up under her feet that's kind of like a magical like lift. And then I'm probably going to have something some more parts coming to connect or at least cradle her back. Because, yeah, I don't have a lot of crazy cool engineering stuff that I can do, or at least that I figured out yet. So I'm going to be very careful with that stuff. Hey, what's up, JD? Welcome in, welcome in. We're just getting started. Ads are going to start in about 2 minutes. So yeah, everybody, I'm not going to start working yet until the ad break is over, so that way nobody misses anything. And yeah, it'll be a good time. But thank you all for joining. I appreciate all the new faces. As always, it's really a lot of fun. And of course, the familiar ones are what helps me along. And yeah, so hopefully all you that are new will become more familiar and have a good time today. I'll get a little bit closer in. Maybe I'll hide the base for a second here. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Rowan? Yeah, there we go. Rowan Leaf 1000. Let's see, where's my base? Here's my base. All right, but here we go. Yeah, let's get a little closer. Yeah, this is where she is. This is the pose that I've got her in a floating pose. Let me get that thing out of the way. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. This is, I think, I was looking, and I think it's my, let me look at my files. It's not the one I want. Let me look at Finder. This is, I think, my 14th stream, which is kind of fun because it's the 14th and Valentine's Day, so like Kismet, or maybe this is the 15th because I might have not downloaded the VOD for the previous stream yet. But yep, that's where we are. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks, Owl. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. This is the reference that I've, no, that's not the reference. The pose, what I was going off of was this, so you know, it's pretty close. Pretty happy with her. I could probably tweak some stuff, but I'm really happy with where she's at right now. Hey, what's up, pleb? Welcome in. Appreciate you. Happy you're here. We're just kind of showing off. I'm probably, at least color-wise, I'm gonna bring the sleeves in more so there's more of a cavity there, and probably darken them in the color. But yeah, let's see. That is really close. Thank you. Yeah, I did not do any lining up because I can, you know, line up and get it like really spot on, but I didn't want to necessarily get it exactly like. I just kind of wanted to get the spirit of the pose and capture as close as I can. There's still a couple things that I want to tweak, but I'm going to save that to like later, take a break from her for a bit as I focus on the base, which I'm really excited about. I like how it's starting so far, and kind of to give you guys an idea of where I'm going with it. Oh, an ad break has started. Let's see. I have never 3D printed, tried it, but hasn't vibed for me, even though I want to. The closest I have is Hero Forge, but that's pretty good. There's the ads, that's right. And you can't hear me, but I did warn you, so stick around. It's only 3 minutes, I say to you in spirit. See, is there anybody that's a subby in here right now? who's all in here? Oh, got a lot of new folks. And Josh, you're in here. You're probably my only subby in here tonight. And I'm sure you're lurking, so I hope you're having a good Valentine's Day. Oh man, I love an iced Coca-Cola right now. God. Is anybody back? I know sometimes people don't get the full 3 minutes, which is very interesting. And we're back. Yay. All right, yeah, I was literally reading your comment, pleb, and then I was like, oh, ads started, and no one here can escape them. So, yay. So, yeah, let's get into that. So, yeah, you said that you haven't done much 3D printing before. You didn't really vibe with it, which is fine. It's not for everybody. It took me a bit to get used to it. For sure, it's not like the easiest thing, and even when you kind of got a lock on it, sometimes weird things happen and it can get really frustrating. So far, I have kind of figured out regular success, but I've not done anything like this before. So we will see. We will see. Mostly, I've done some action figure stuff. Let me see if I can. Do I have any of the? I have some of the prints. Here, I'll bring it back full me, and we'll see if this works. Let's see, this is one of the prints, and this camera isn't the best, but it's a head of a figure that I worked on. Here's the kind of the first shot from the factory. Hey, what's up, Zach? Welcome in. So this is the first shot from the factory of that, and this is my 3D print. So this head was a little bit bigger. Only because this was a new sculpt and there's some shrinkage that happens with stuff in the factory. But yeah, 3D printing is tough, you know? Let's see. There's a place I recommend to start. Gosh, to get stuff 3D printed at this point? No, because I used to use Shapeways, which might be okay. They were pretty decent price-wise, but I don't know if they're still in business. So I would recommend looking up Shapeways. Oh no, to start 3D modeling. Blender. Blender's a really good one. The software that I'm using is ZBrush. It is a great piece of software, but it is not cheap like most softwares. It used to be cheap until they went to a subscription model like everyone else. I got it for like, I don't know, maybe $400 or something like that when I first got it. And they were like free updates for years and years and years. And they did raise the price, and it still was worth the price. But then a few years back, they finally were bought up by another company. And then the company Maxon that owns Cinema 4D, and they just plopped ZBrush into the subscription model like the rest of their software packages. So it's been frustrating, but it's still a great piece of software. But if you don't have the cash to do that, to get a really good 3D package, I would say Blender is a great way to start. And maybe Blender doesn't make sense. Like I tried to make custom shapes and I couldn't figure it out. You just got to give yourself some time and some patience because you're going to run into those same problems, I think, in any software package. They all work relatively the same. They have kind of their kinks, but uh, yeah, it just is tough starting out, and you got to find those good tutorials. Autodesk Inventor, but there's a subscription fee unless you can steal an educational copy, and that's true. I mean, there's I'm not going to advocate cracks and stuff like that, but there's ways that you can get, especially as a student. Um, the only time the software companies are really concerned with that kind of stuff is if you're making money off of using their product. So, you know, student copies, if your friend has an extra license of some sort, uh, yeah. But also just tutorials. Like I took a class once in ZBrush, and in school I took classes in Maya, which is an Autodesk product, like JD was mentioning. But to tell you the truth, I've learned more on the job with 3D software and with tutorials than any class environment, you know? Let's see, as far as 3D stuff, the only thing I really use is Hero Forge, but that's not the same. Correct, yeah. I mean, Hero Forge is great and it's really cool. Funny enough, a friend of mine sent me a model from Hero Forge that they got, and another friend of theirs made some uh, really cool artwork for their D&D character, but it didn't quite line up with their Hero Forge character, so they sent me the Hero Forge STL, and I added a few of the features that were in the drawing to make it even closer. And then I'm going to print it out for them. So that's the kinds of things that I like to do for my friends on the side. But yeah, no, I've seen Hero Forge stuff. It's really cool. It's really fun. I do think it's an awesome way for people who don't have access to 3D printing to make custom stuff. Oh wait, let's see. No. Let's see. Yeah, the best way to learn is YouTube and just play around. That exactly. Like, and don't be discouraged. Like, I will tell you this. Oh, maybe I can even show an example here if I still have like an earlier version of Frieren in here. Yeah, like so here's the body that I started out with. You know, when I was just like messing around and trying to figure it out. Like, it's not horrible, but it's pretty gross. Like, it's ugly, and it was. And this is not like exactly how I started it out. Like I brought in different shapes for each bit and kind of mashed them together. If you go to my YouTube channel, my VODs are up, and if you looked at the first, if you just at least like watch some of the beginning of the first VOD, you can see that like the process is ugly to start with, and that's okay, you know, pleb. So don't like get too discouraged about feeling not great about what you're creating, because that's just kind of normal and something that you got to get used to. Um, it's part of the process, and you're gonna find some people that are just like so incredible, of course, that it feels like they create these elegant things right off the bat, and you know, good for them. That's not all of us. That's not everyone. You know, see, looks like one of the mannequins from the Obey Voice. It's true, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too, is like if you look at like a lot of those indie horror games and stuff like that, like all skill levels have uh, confined work. Let me just say that, you know. Um, so I'm going to finally start working a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I've already got this like base shape set in, and I'm going to use it as a guide, and I'm going to reconstruct this because I'm ultimately going to do like a different shape for these swoops that's a little bit more geometric rather than curvy like this. I mean, it's a beautiful shape, but it's not exactly what I envisioned. This was just a quick way for me to get kind of these big sweeping shapes in so I can understand what I wanted to do. So I'm using what's called a retopology brush, and I'm drawing the topology on, and then I'm going to extrude it. And again, this doesn't need to be pretty either, because I'm going to be just reworking it as I go. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that I can say as an artist at the start. Like, your stuff's going to be ugly. And even throughout your career, you're going to make ugly stuff. Sometimes on purpose. And not on purpose like you want to make ugly stuff, but sometimes if you are working for a client that just, they don't really understand what they're doing and what they want, people are going to make you make ugly things. I've made some really ugly things for other people, and that's okay. That's why I do stuff like this, so I can make some pretty things for myself. And I am very happy with Frieren. And it was like tough at the start too. Like, I've never done work in front of people before like this in a kind of a performative sense. So it was a little nerve-wracking to do this in front of people, like I said. But it did remind me, like, it's okay for things to not look great. And also everyone has kind of a different eye for things. Because the feedback has always been nice as I've been working on this, you know? I think I'm gonna hop off for a while. Nice to meet you. Hey, thanks, Owl. Thank you. I appreciate the good luck. Yeah, if I'm still on, I'm usually on for about 2.5 hours. So if I'm still on, pop back in. If not, you have a lovely night. Happy Valentine's Day, and take care. Speaking of Valentine's Day, what about you, Zach? You popped in a little bit later. Did you and the lady do anything today for Valentine's Day, or did you work and you just are like trying to decompress from work today? Let's see. Now this, I extruded that part that I drew in, and now I'm going to separate it. Split unmasked. And now I'm going to use this. I'm going to also take away the color on this stuff. And I'm going to start trying to have this match this shape a little bit more, and then start adding levels. I want to do some kind of like layers that are happening in the geometry. To feel like there's more happening with the magic of the part. But first I gotta get the main shape in. And why is this not like, it's not moving, pivoting where I want it to? This is so weird. Let's see. I think Rowan and I are going to watch a show. Have a good night. Okay, yeah, you have I hope you watch a fun show. Let's see. I'm pretty happy with my Hero Forge stuff, though, either way. No, that's good. Yeah, Hero Forge is a lot of fun. I don't dog on Hero Forge. I know there's some people that aren't like a fan of it. I personally don't have a problem with Hero Forge. I think it's a cool service. I think they do it better than other studios that I've seen that do that kind of thing. So, yeah. More power to Hero Forge, for sure. Man, I really got to figure out what's going on with this pivot. me see if I can get to this. Oh yeah, it's a really weird thing. I'm going to save where I'm at, because it's always good to save, and then I'm going to reopen ZBrush and see if that solves the problem. Let's see. Save as Frieren. Sometimes you just gotta close and relaunch a software to fix a problem. Let's see. Nope, I've already saved. Then we'll reopen and we'll reload Frieren. This won't take too long. ZBrush moves pretty fast. And if you like my background, that'll show you how long I've had that background. That is Doom Guy and Isabelle from Animal Crossing, way back when Animal Crossing and Doom came out on the same day. All right, let's load Frieren. Open. Let's drag her in. Let's see. Zooming in there, zooming in there. Okay, cool. Problem solved. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of massage this around and get the shape that I want. And then once I have the shape that I want, yes, yes, good night to them. Once I get the shape that I want, then I'm gonna start trying to add these layers in that I'm really excited about. I thought about them. I think it's gonna be a very interesting look for the magic that surrounds her. Let's see. No, you're not late at Radius. You're actually really, really early. We've only been going for a half hour. Let's see. A joint is calling me. I'll BRB, leaving stream open, of course. Thank you, thank you. What's good? I'll tell you what's good. It's been a little bit, I think, since you've been here, Radius. So we have Frieren all posed, and now we're working on the base. So yeah, here for you, since you just got here. Here she is in all her glory with the roughed in kind of basic shapes of the base. But right now I am reworking parts of the base. So yeah, how have you been? And thanks for joining. You know, better late than never, but I know usually you have popped in like right as we were wrapping up, so congratulations on making it way before this time. And hopefully you enjoy the stream. I'm working on some basic modeling today for the base. I've got some basic shapes in for the main components of the base, but I am reworking these because I have an idea of what I want them to look like, and I need better geometry in place for that to happen. What's good is once I have this one part done, I'm gonna duplicate it and move it around, and it should be pretty quick. And then after that, each part I plan on making fairly unique. Like I might do some similarities for each one, but if you look at the base right now, even though it's very similar on either side, it's already asymmetrical. Like obviously the two spires in the back are asymmetrical, but even the two that are in the front here are slightly off and have about a different angle. So yeah, see, I've been all right. I just learned body sculpting on my own. Nice. Now what's left is learn the arms. Difficult for me, and the lower legs, calves, and shins. Yeah, man. I mean, just find some good anatomy books. You can. I don't even know if I have one that I could recommend. I do have a really awesome anatomy book that I would love to recommend, but I have it at work and I don't remember what the name of it is. So I will have to bring that home, and then next stream, or the next stream that you're here, I'll be able to tell you the name of it for sure. Let's see. I have books on anatomy. Oh yeah. The book that I have that I use is particularly for artists and sculptors, and you might it might be one of the books that you have. So it doesn't really go into what the anatomy is. I mean, it does, but it spends more time showing you the anatomy and how it works with each other and how it breaks down. And again, you might already have books like that, but this is one that I have used and that I really enjoy. So you might like it. I'll still recommend it, even though you already have books. And if you're like, no, that's not for me, then cool. We good. Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I'm here. I want to, sure, I want to work on my stuff, but I also want to encourage people to work on their own stuff and recommend anything that I can to them, so that way they can have some cool stuff. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah. Help lead them in a direction if they need it. Also, I know you're in here too, Wormy, so hi. Thanks for coming in as usual. Or not as usual, as you have before, because I think it's probably maybe the second time you've been in. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I knew you were here. Let's see. Only thing I'm kind of sad is my exams are near and I gotta study instead of sculpting. Yep. Gotta find some balance. I get it. When I was in school, I suffered those same dilemmas. What I usually did that helped me, because I found that I couldn't really do my art and academic classes in like the same terms, at least not too many. So I do like mostly art and like one academic, and then I do all academic just to get as many of those out of the way. Yeah, that was rough for me. My brain did not handle that well. Let's see, I'm going to add an edge loop in the middle so I can mask that front bit. We're going to take our time kind of trying to match this shape here, so that way when I duplicate it, it's close when I bring it to the other side, and I won't have to manipulate as much. Yeah, I know some people mentioned how their Valentine's Day was. Anybody else have a good Valentine's Day? My wife does not like Valentine's Day. She finds the pressure of the holiday a bit anxiety inducing, feeling like she has to perform but I am a fan of Valentine's Day. So my awesome wife many years ago was tired of me bitching about it. So she created a holiday for us called Quit Your Bitchin' Day. And it was mainly she created it for me because she wanted me to quit my bitching about Valentine's Day. And we celebrate that on the day before, which is nice because there's no pressure. We don't really have to celebrate if we're too busy or we don't want to, but we still have a lot of fun. And we also don't have to worry about like all the stresses of the holiday, like finding reservations to places because it's the day before, so no one's really like going crazy, you know? We don't have to compete with a bunch of other people for the holiday. And it's just the idea of it is funny. So I really enjoyed that little holiday that she's made for us. All right. That's mainly in place right there. So now I'm going to mirror this. Oh, turn off my mask and mirror it. So now I got a new piece. And I'm going to separate these pieces because I want them to work independently of each other. So split to parts. And now I'm going to work on this new bit. Now to start, I'm just going to kind of shift it into place. Let's see. Oh, is it like the outer part is transparent and the inner part is solid white for a magical effect? No, actually, that would be really cool. No, the other parts are just kind of like a guide. And you know, that's not a bad idea. Like I might keep them around and integrate them in a way so I break it up so it's not all harsh edges. But ultimately what I'm going to do is these curves are really easy to kind of draw in and map out where I wanted these shapes to go, but I do want them to have a different feel to them. So I just needed to retopologize and make new geometry. But I'm using these curves as like a quick guide. But honestly, that's a really good idea what you had. So I might kind of use that to see if I can integrate some of the stuff that I already built. We'll see how it looks, you know? It might not look all that great in the end, you know, from my hand. But it's an interesting thought and idea. And what I might be able to do is I could hollow out these pieces and maybe add some color like on the inside to add that effect that you're talking about. But I've not done that before myself, and I am going to try to explore printing with translucent resin or clear resins, a clear blue resin to be specific, when I get around to printing this. So I'll just need to figure out how I want to do this, you know? A lot of new challenges for me. Okay, now let's duplicate this. try to get this in shape. So you will find sometimes when you're doing 3D modeling and when you're blocking stuff in, you're going to rework and rebuild here and there. And it's not the end of the world. It's also good to get used to in case you like lose material. Sometimes you just need to rebuild something that you've already done, which can be real discouraging. But if you get used to that, then you don't mourn the process as much, and it actually can become part of your process in a way when you need it. Not all the time. But I found for this particular project that doing it this way was something I thought might be effective for me. And, you know, comes with a happy accident, like you mentioning, hey, is that going to be like an inner part? Well, now it might be, only because you thought of it and you're here on stream. And that's kind of like the fun, cool thing about this, I think, is that these projects are going to be kind of collaborative in a way, because I get to chat with you guys and hear your ideas and thoughts. And as more people kind of come in and sit in and have ideas, that can also shape these pieces so they're kind of not just mine, but kind of yours as well. Which I enjoy that idea. That's what the fun part is. But exactly, that is the fun part. I mean, that's what makes this experience unique. Why am I, aside from like giving myself an excuse to do some projects for myself, what is the point of being on stream if not to have the folks that are watching somehow be a part of the process? I mean, it's fun if y'all can learn something from what I'm doing. Like, that's a big thing also that I want to integrate, where people ask questions and help find their path or be inspired to create their own stuff. But also, if you feel like you've had a hand in, you know, what we're creating here, then that's just a really cool extra, in my opinion. Can I have all of her? No, she's all kinds of different bits. But yeah, I'm excited to get to the base. I don't know how long it's going to take to get through the base, and I might end up, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, do some of it offline just to speed it up, because I do want to get into the engineering aspect of things sooner than later. Like, I don't want these projects to take like a long time. Let's see. Yep. And they gone. It is very interesting. I see bots every once in a while, not too often. They're starting to show up a little bit more and more. And I think that's, you know, kind of what comes with the territory of getting into the affiliate program and all that kind of stuff. Because they're fishing for dollars, trying to get suckers to buy bots from them to enhance things, even though they kind of don't really do a good job at enhancing anything in any meaningful way. At least for some. I'm not, you know, looking for anything crazy from a bot. I just want to come on here and do art with people. Exactly. Easiest way to get hacked too. Like, you can't trust any of the stuff that just kind of like pops in and promises all kinds of crazy stuff. And yeah, I definitely do not want to get hacked. That is for dang sure. But how have you been? You said you got exams coming up, Radius, and you haven't been here for a few streams, I think. Don't remember the last time you were in. But how have you been? I know, I mean, I was sick for a little bit. Holidays have gone through. I went camping. So we skipped a weekend of streaming for that. Has just been school and powering through. You've been alive, to say the least. Well, I'm glad. Alive is still a pretty big thing and a good thing. So thankful for that. Glad you're alive. And glad you're here. You know, it's nice. It's been a nice experience, people making an effort to come and see the stream and engage. Especially an art stream. Let's see. The increasing burden of responsibilities of my age is kind of overwhelming. Hey, what's up, Wedge? Welcome back. Yeah, where are we? We're 3 spires deep in the new bits. We're talking about life a little bit. Slee! Hi! This is very exciting to see you. How are you? Did you have a nice Valentine's Day? Yay! I'm glad you love art streams, Radius. Yeah. So like I was saying, it's, you know, it's when you start, especially an art stream, when you're coming on Twitch where everyone's here to see gamers or just chat, it's you don't know the kind of response you're gonna get. So it's been really exciting and a little overwhelming for people to come on in and join. Let's see, you can't hear though. Not because of you, but where I. Oh, okay. Let me chat to you then real quick. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Slee is a very cool person. I help and mod for her. She's an awesome streamer. Another person that like I attest to me being able to do this in the way I have been, where I having more people in my streams than I expected. So yeah, it's been nice. Followed. Yeah, she's awesome. And she streams on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll be keeping an eye out for you to hopefully pop in at some point, Wedge. That would be really cool to see you in a Slee stream. Yay! Everybody follow Sleebun. Yeah, I should shout her out for sure. Let's see. Shout out Sleebun. doop. But yeah, we love all our fellow streamers, and we help and support each other. It is really awesome. I've enjoyed becoming part of the streaming community and finding myself getting to support so many different people in unique ways. So yeah, it's been really cool. So I know you can't hear me, Slee. Let me pop this off. So if you are watching still, so you can see in color for just a little bit. But yeah, here's where we are. So for those of you who can hear, so you see what's going on. Obviously we have Frieren floating there, and this kind of colorful spire right here that's over the blue is the one that we're currently working on. And I can see the wire frame, that's why it's all those different colors. And the two previously that I had just finished are that white color. So that's why those kind of stand out right now. But yep, there's our girl. I'm super excited to finally be working on the base, because it means we're that much closer. Hey, what's up, Wormy? Bob in the head. Thanks for dropping in an emote. Yay, Wormy. But yeah, back to it. So yeah, I'm just kind of going in and getting this basic shape for this, and then I'll duplicate this one and mirror it again. And then I think for tonight, I kind of want to, at least in the second hour, work on this bit right here, because what I want to happen here is I want, again, some magical burst coming up to reach her feet to help support her. But also the whole point, I got to bring the texture or my reference in again. Doop, doop. I'll just bring in this. So to give a little lore for Frieren, there's in two parts. There's a flower spell that she learned from her mentor that is very important to her and special to her. And then also there's a very specific flower that's very important to another person's very important to her as well. So what I want is, this is basically her using that spell to conjure in that flower that is so meaningful to her. And I want it to be, the flowers to be bursting out of the ground a little bit and kind of going up the magic, as well as breathing some life into the base. So right now there's like a mound, but I want it to kind of like spread and flow out of that. So that is the plan. So probably for the second hour, I'm going to build the flower and then figure out how to populate it and how I want it to spring forth from the ground. And then also kind of play with that main like central burst that's going to support her feet. All right, so I think we're almost there. Let's see. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know. The fave spell. It's her favorite spell. It's Frieren's favorite spell. It becomes Fern's favorite spell. Everybody kind of passes it down to each other, and not like really purposefully, which I thought is kind of beautiful. That all these characters kind of see the beauty and the importance of this mundane spell. It really doesn't do anything for them, but yet at the same time it does so much. So there's so much about show that I love. All right, there's something flying around in my office right now. Let us mirror, and we'll split to parts. So you know what's funny? I decided to learn clay sculpting because the figurine I wanted to buy was too expensive. That is actually, a really valid reason to do that. So that's awesome. I love that. That's some fun radius lore right there. I learned sculpting and started learning sculpting because I wasn't sure in the grand scheme of my animation degree where I wanted to go. And so I took this sculpting class because I had heard it was very fun. And ironically, where I'm working now is where my professor at the time was working. And I actually got to visit the studio early on, which was really cool. The sculpting studio that I'm at. And it was at that point a sculpting studio. Now we're all digital. But yeah, I went to school to study animation, and I took some 3D classes, so I was used to 3D. And then I took that traditional sculpting class, which was a great foundation for 3D modeling that I didn't realize I was getting. And then I was lucky and got a really cool internship with Disney Consumer Products, and that's how I fell into the world of product and making toys and stuff, because I had found out that I needed an internship to graduate and did not know until my junior year that was necessary. So I jumped in to this internship class, did a fake internship during the class at Disneyland where I was working at the time, because the real internship I applied for started after the class. And I still hadn't graduated yet. Actually, I think I was graduated for some of the internship, the legit one. But I needed to do all the class stuff before it even started. So I did this kind of faux internship. And that's a whole other story. It's kind of funny. But the cool part was when I finally got to the consumer products internship, it was 6 months and it was paid, which is rare. And that's how I kind of fell into the world of consumer products. I got my first job right out of that internship with a small sculpting studio, and a buddy of mine from that place started working at where I am now, and they needed people, so he reached out to me because he knew I was kind of tired of where I was and where he used to be, and poof. Now I am at a really cool job that I love. All right, so here we go. So they still look kind of ugly. Let's see. Wait, you work on those companies who make animated cartoon sculpts and then a mass production? No. I mean, yes, but mostly I work on action figure stuff. So the stuff I work on is like Hasbro, Marvel Legends stuff, and sometimes Mattel, like WWE figures. Jazzwares is also another company that does wrestling stuff, so for them as well. And I've also started doing, which is what's really fun, is some animation studios have started wanting digital maquettes. So basically sculpts of their characters that they can turn around in 3D space, and their artists can use them to help them kind of like get angles that are maybe unusual, and they have to like it just kind of helps them problem solve. So that's been really fun. I've been working on that for a couple different uh, animated series, and I don't know if I can name them out loud, so I won't. But that's been really fun. So there's all kinds of like interesting stuff I've gotten to work on randomly in this job that I wasn't expecting to do, but I'm very grateful for. That's for sure. So yeah, better not name it exactly. Yeah, I've not signed any NDAs, at least not recently. I'm sure the studio has, so I'm not gonna mess things up for my place of work or myself. That's for dang sure. Okay. Let's see. I think an ad break's gonna start very soon. Let's see. Yeah, in about 5 minutes. So we'll keep chatting. And I think what I'll do is I will bring in a sphere in the center here. And that's what I'm going to start playing with to kind of figure out the burst of magic for her. I'm probably going to end up rebuilding that too. But I definitely want to figure it out organically first before I build something. AFK, BRB. Yeah, no problem, man. You do what you got to do. Kind of a good time, too. Right now, it's kind of funny. It's pink, so it looks like a tongue. Let's see. I'm just absolutely gooning that used music gear right now. That's fun. Found a cool jar. Oh, really? Really, really, really? Yeah. Tell me about it, man. Yeah, unfortunately, like, I don't have a space for, like, my own kind of drum kit. I used to have an electric kit, and I just kind of stopped using it and then gave it to a buddy of my kids, and then he got his own kit, and he's like, "Do you want yours back?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I don't really have a place for it. I don't practice at home. I just use the kit at church, so I don't, you know." Music gear for me right now is not like the thing. Let's see. It's made in Mexico. Best Fender in your opinion? Let's see. You drummed. Yeah, I think we talked about that on one of your streams. I do drum. I've been part of my church's praise band for at least like 15 years now. Oh yeah, no, it's okay that you stream a lot, bud, so I'm sure there's plenty of conversations that you and I have had that you don't remember because you're in your stream the whole time talking to many people plus playing lots of games and stuff. So I get it, man. It's okay. You don't have to remember those conversations. I will, because my brain makes me remember all those conversations. But yeah, I've been part of my church's praise band for about 15 years as the drummer. Also sing here and there with that, but yeah, mostly just on drums, and it's been a lot of fun. I, as you probably know, I'm pretty liberal and don't come off as like a churchy guy. I'm actually not a big fan of organized religion, but I also think there's good in it if you find the right place and the right people. And my family did. It's a good community, supports a lot of people all around, like locally and outside, and definitely jives with our ideas on human rights and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we lucked out, and thus are heavily involved. Exactly. It's all about who is running it, and excuse me. This particular place, it is the congregation that really runs the show, and the leadership is there to serve the congregation and help kind of do the logistics and obviously all the liturgy and stuff like that. All right, ads are going to start in about 30 seconds. So thank you for sticking through the ads. They will be about 3 minutes. If they end up being less than 3 minutes for you for some reason, say something, pop back in, and we'll chat a little bit. And I will break. Thank you. W Chatter. Me. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. I hope you get some fun ads. An ad for Twitch Turbo, or do you have Twitch Turbo? Are you back already? Did some of you get through the ads quicker? Not have to suffer through a full 3 minutes? If so, that's awesome. Weirdly 30 seconds. Yeah, it is weird. Like I don't get Twitch. Because right now I'm looking at a countdown that said there's a minute left. But I think for some people it breaks down. Like some people get like ads on the way in. Sometimes there's like banners that show up throughout that kind of like shorten it because those count too. Maybe. I don't know. It's very, very odd to understand how all of that works, you know? But as long as they're still working, I'm not going to complain, you know? You know, I mean, I think I like where the ads are at. Like, I might, if I get to a point, maybe do them every half hour and have like a shorter run of them. But I don't want to have like a bunch of ads. That's not what I'm here for. And honestly, like, the money from the ads is not huge. Welcome back, everybody. If you had 3 minutes of ads, I'm sorry. If you had less than that, congratulations. I kind of did a little bit of a curly swoopy swoop here to start. Yay! Thank you. But yeah, so this is kind of like what I have in mind for something to kind of like support her magically. All right, and now another thing I want to do is, let me see. I need to look up something from the show. I want to see that particular flower. The blue moon weed, I believe, is what it's called. So let me. There we go. All right, I'm gonna save some reference of this because we're gonna build this tonight as well. So let me see. Save. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's bring these in. Let's see. You see, I have a inspiration to become like an artist. It uses 3D sculpts and rigging. I say for work, of course, like, can you tell how many hours later I can reach that place? Assuming I'm a total beginner. You know, that's kind of a hard question to answer, honestly, because it just depends not only like how many hours you put in, but how often you can put in those hours, you know? The more condensed that time is, the quicker you'll get there because you're spending more time on the work and you're absorbing more quickly. Or if you do it over longer periods of time, that might slow you down because you might not be moving through and making strides as quick as you could. So it's not so much the amount of hours, it's just the pacing for you and how much you can absorb. You know, because we always absorb things at a different pace as well. So something that you might be really quick at picking up, someone else might take longer to pick up. or vice versa. Someone might be able to pick something up really quick, and you're just like, I can't wrap my head around this. What gives? And that's the same thing for me. Like everybody is good at different things too. Like you also want to lean into your strengths first, and then some of those skills that are more challenging, build those up over time. Like for me, like cartoony stuff, I really have a handle on understanding shape in 3D space. And I can do realistic modeling and likenesses, but I'm not as strong as some of my colleagues. Luckily, I am good enough, so I'm used to do likenesses plenty. They know I can get it done, but I'm like not like the first person they're going to come to for that stuff. They're going to come to me for hard surface modeling and costume details and hair work, or something that's super cartoony because they know I can bang that stuff out real quick. So it's really going to be one, kind of getting a good foundation first, just like practice modeling simple characters and that kind of stuff. And then as soon as you can kind of wrap your head on those foundational bits, then start pushing your limits, you know? And I can't really give you like an amount of hours time. They say, what is it like? Let me stop again and look up, because there is like an amount of hours that they say this is how long until you become a master at something. How many hours until you become a master at your craft? 10,000 hours, they say. Roughly 5 to 7 years of full-time work. Or up to 27 years of practicing only an hour a day. Yeah, the 10K hour rule. I don't think it's a rule. I understand where it came from, but I think we all master different things at different speeds. And that's maybe if you're talking about like a broad master, because you're going to be really good at some things right off the bat, and other things is going to take you time to wrap around. So really, that whole it takes 10,000 hours is because like you can't do it all at once, you know? It takes time to develop all the different skills needed to become a craftsman at what you're doing. So yeah, so I'm probably like 5,000 hours in, I would guess, because I've been I've been doing this for 20 years, so maybe past that. Maybe I hesitate to call myself a master in anything, but I've definitely got many years of experience under my belt, and I am accomplished, and I've pushed out good work. Let's see, yeah, really past that. Yeah, I'm well past. You know, I mean, I've been working at this place 40 hours a week for coming up on 12 years. So even just at this place, I'm definitely over the 10,000 hour mark, I would imagine, or close to. I can actually probably do the math, but I'm not going to do that. I'm streaming. I'm having fun. All right, so I did get some reference of the blue moon. Where is it? The blue moon flower. I got a couple images, but I'm not sure if both saved. Do at least this one. And it's a pretty looking flower. And let's go down through all of my images and see if we can pop in. Oh, I might use that a little bit to inspire me with like some of the magic look. But obviously I'm going to do a little different. Okay. Did I not save it? Let me try again. Save image. Himmel something. Let's see. H. Oh, it's because it's one of those files. Okay. Oh, this is nice. This is the actual flower. All right, we'll save this. Oh no, it did it again. I might have to open it up in Photoshop. Let's see. This is all part of the experience. All right, let's open up this flower. Open. Open both of these and then save them as JPEGs. So this is one, it's nice because it shows the stems and stuff from the series. Yeah, the Doomslayer. Not only is it the Doomslayer, although I have to admit, I have not finished that game. I did buy it. I was having fun with it, but I got busy. That's what happens a lot to me. What I really want to play next is Ghost of Yotai. That's what's on my list. This and this one I'm really excited about because look at that. The flower in real life. It is a beautiful, beautiful flower. Okay, so let's do another export as a JPEG. Okay, and then let's close Photoshop. All right, yeah. Oh, and here before you go, here is Doomslayer and Isabelle from Animal Crossing. Because if you remember, Animal Crossing and Doom came out at the same time, right during the pandemic. So they're friends. All right, now let's load these other images. That is, route name is the same too as Isabelle. Ooh, this is a happy accident. Look at that with Frieren in the background with the flowers. That's kind of cool. Kind of looks like she's a statue that's in the lilies in the distance with the mountain. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to mostly use this reference because it's just really nice. And I'm going to bring in a flat plane to draw on. As soon as I can find it. There it is, plane 3D. Again, I'm going to use that retopology brush. And I'm going to get this basic shape in here. For the flower. Hey, what's up, Wormy? Thanks again for the emote. I'm glad you're still here lurking. I appreciate you. Okay. I'm going to do this kind of rough. Just kind of speed through. While we have this quiet time here, just want to say to all of you that are lurking, all of you that are in the background, watching live, whether you're in chat or not, I thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot. I've been doing this for about coming up on 4 months because I started in October, or actually I started in November officially, and with some great support was able to get to affiliate. Hey, what's up? Hello, Carrie. Thanks for popping in to say hi. But yeah, I started in November and was lucky enough to get to affiliate really quickly with some grand support from some folks that are in here now and some folks that aren't in here now. And I've been accepted into this crazy little streaming community and have gotten to meet fantastic people from all kinds of places and learn new things. And I just appreciate every aspect of it. So if you are new, if you're just happen to be popping through and catching me live, if you're lurking, if you're AFK but you're going to be back in a little bit, I am grateful for you giving me your time, and I hope you are enjoying the time that you're giving me as I create some art. So I love using this retopology brush because it gives me an opportunity to be really organic with hard surface modeling stuff. And I was talking with another buddy of mine earlier today. We were talking about, in his stream, he was using Blender, and we were talking about quads versus triangles, and most of the time when modeling, especially when it's like animation and stuff like that, you don't want to use triangles because it gets better edge loops, and the way the shapes deform, there's way more control and it just looks better. But in my line of work, that doesn't matter so much. Hey, welcome back, Radius. Glad you're back. I was just talking about how this particular brush, I really like it a lot because it gives me the opportunity to do hard surface modeling with like an organic feel. And that led into me talking about quads versus triangles. And typically, especially in animation, we don't use triangles. Quads are better because the shapes they make are nicer and they're easier to control. And they deform well. But for me in particular, it isn't really all that necessary. And that's because, sure, I move things around, and so I use quads as much as possible, but in the end, for me, none of the stuff that I'm going to be working on is going to be moving actively or being made to move in the product world. So it's okay to throw triangles in there every once in a while just for the sake of like saving time, as long as it's not really like messing up the look of what I'm doing. So I try to do quads a lot of the time, but I don't mind a triangle here and there. Let's see, split mask points. There we go. Let's see. And God forbid someone use a few tries here and there, and people are rigging with raging with pitchforks. Like even in-game models, there are tries here and there. Well, it's funny because like a lot of in-game models, like eventually they do like some decimation, and at a high enough level, like the triangles, like there's still edge loops, so you're fine. And the triangles that are there are like not really all that noticeable. So I mean, it is what it is. But I do get it, because triangles do make shapes hard to deal with. So I avoid them as much as possible, you know? But sometimes it's not worth the hassle of trying so hard to avoid them in what I do. So unless I really need it to not be, then I don't, sweat it so much. Even sometimes adding in too many edge loops. I try not to sweat that too much. Like, you don't want to overdo it, but sometimes you need that extra edge loop, and it is not necessarily in the greatest spot, but in the long run, it'll make your life easier. So just go ahead and throw in that extra edge loop, man. Okay. Oop. So now just curling the petals up a little bit. We'll probably end up thickening this up because again, these are going to end up being really small in the long run, and only some of them are going to have like visible stems here and there. This is just going to be something that I'm going to use to like populate. The main portion of the base, and then I'll probably use this also separately to create like hero flowers for different sections and put them in by hand. But I do want to kind of make this base mesh for a flower that I can populate throughout the bottom of the base, or the main portion of the base that is below her feet. Okay. All right, and then we're going to add, nope. And we're keeping this all really low poly because this is all going to be like a populated thing. So I'm not going to go too crazy with this. Actually, let me split. Divide it up at least once. Where are we? We're at 140. So probably like another half hour to 40 minutes. We'll see how we go. Not sure if we'll get to the nanomesh portion of it. I haven't done a nanomesh in a while. That's what I was thinking of doing, and that's that populating tool that I've been talking about a little bit. Or I'd like to turn this into something that I can auto-generate. All right, right now if I smooth this out, you can see it has a hard edge. I don't want that hard edge, but I also kind of want this a little thicker. So I mask the top and bring it straight down. Then I'm going to go through with the pinch brush and bring the edges of it closer. Maybe I should do the move brush. Yeah, I'll just do the move brush. And eventually I'm also going to remove this hard edge. That's just like a crease that's automatically there when you use the topology brush. but that can easily be removed, and then it softens all the edges, and anywhere that I would like it a little bit sharper, I can add some edge loops. All right, so let's remove the creases now. Crease all. So now you can see it's a much kind of like softer organic shape. But I do want to sharpen up a little bit. I like your workflow so much. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I always wonder, my workflow is very kind of scattered. I am undiagnosed autistic. The only reason I say that with more confidence than I probably would have years ago is because my child is diagnosed autistic, and I see where they get some of their behaviors from. So I also learned very young how to mask very well and blend in, and I analyze the crap out of everyone. That's almost like kind of my autism superpower. It's not trains, it's people. So I can pick up on social cues, not necessarily because I think I understood them, but I just observed them, and now I'm very good at it, to the point where it was really funny. I saw a friend that I hadn't seen for years and years and years, and I kind of like dropped the bomb on him. I'm like, yeah, my son's diagnosed, and I'm not, probably won't ever because it's so expensive, so unless that changes, but I am too. And he's like, no, you're not. It's very funny for someone when you reveal something about yourself that has taken you a long time to discover and understand, for them to go like, nah. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. No, yeah, I don't know how else to tell you, man. I've always had trouble with eye contact. That's not why, but that is one of the many things. But I'm also really good at forcing myself to do it. I also was a theater kid, so that helped me with a lot of skills. And yeah, neurospicy. That's right, Carrie. She knows. I don't even remember why we went on that talk. But yeah, so workflow. That's right. You were talking about my workflow, and you're actively learning stuff. I'm glad, because my workflow is not necessarily the same as a lot of people's workflow. It can be very scattered but organized. So yeah, so I have this flower here. I'm going to duplicate it just so I have a low res backup and hide that, and then I'm going to divide it up, and I'm going to put some of these nice shapes into it. I'm also going to inflate it a little bit. Oh, oops, wrong brush. I'm going to inflate so these petals are kind of closer together. I'm going to dig into the petals a little bit so that way they're kind of scoopy. And then there are points in each petal. There's kind of nice indentees that are leading. It's about roughly 2 for each petal. There's like one that looks like it has like 3. So we'll do that too. And then let's look at some of this other reference, because it looks like there's those little blue bits. Yeah, those are floaty, and that's something that we're not going to be able to do. So we're going to simulate that a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that. Well, maybe I need to take care of that. So I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One. Oh. One. Oh, too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So dragging those in, and they're all going to relief off of the petals. Oh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Wedge. I also am happy that progress is being made. And it gets tough like in these bits when I have to like kind of like stop and I have to make like a small detail, because it feels like it slows everything down a bit, but it's still really important. And the goal with this little bit is to actually speed things up. And they're all kind of like a kidney bean shape. So let's have some fun with that. They're all going like differently too. They're not the same. I might inflate these too, because this is going to be a really small detail, and these are going to be really small detail, so I don't need to go like super crazy with these, either on the accuracy or just the geometry. It's good practice to get it looking good and as accurate as possible, but like in the end, this thing is maybe going to be about this size on the final piece, and a lot of the detail is going to get lost. So I'm not going to go so crazy. It's a waste of my time and yours. But also we're doing a little learning. You know, we're learning. So I'm actually going to dig in deeper with some of these like petal wrinkles just to help make those pop in the end. All right. And then I might, just for funsies, make like the base of where the stem hits. I don't even know what part of the flower that's called, but I'm going to reuse this piece right here. If we look at the way it is, it's kind of like leafy, but it's not going to be super visible. So I'm not going to go super crazy. It looks like it comes between the petals. So I'll bring this up and make sure it's close. As we go, kind of find the center, make this poke out a little bit more. And all the areas that are where the petals connect, drag out more. Again, we're not going super crazy on the detail here because this is going to be such a small detail. Okay. All right, and then we just divide this up one more time. That smooths that out. All right, cool. So we have our blue moon flower, separate from our base model. Now we're going to make this. We're going to merge all these bits. Now we have a singular piece of geometry here. And right now it's pretty low. I'm going to make it lower. Poly count, like 20,000. Now this is something that I'll be able to use to populate on the main base at the bottom of, or at the top of the main part of the base where the big swoops are coming up from. So I'm going to do a few things right here. I'm going to save this main flower. I'm just going to call it blue underscore moon underscore flower. And then I'm going to save this OBJ. I'm just going to export it. Also blue underscore moon flower. Since it is a different file type, I don't mind naming it the same exact thing. because it is literally the same exact thing. I want to be able to find it. If I start naming things too many different things just because they're different file types and all that kind of stuff, I'm just going to confuse myself, and I don't want to do that. There's no point in making things more complicated. Okay, so let's go back to our lass and the base. We're going to populate these flowers on here. I've not done a nano mesh in so long. I think B M no easy. I think nano mesh is one of the parts of this brush. Am I wrong? Yeah, I don't see it in there. Is there an actual nano mesh brush? No. That's why I gotta look stuff up, kids, in the beginning when you're thinking about doing something. So I'll actually hold off on this then for next time. But I have it built. Hey, Wormy emote again. Woo! So since we're going to hold off, we got our flower built, but we're going to hold off populating it at the bottom. We're going to start making the interesting bits of this. And I'm going to feel my way out. This is going to be another organic kind of thing that we got going on here. So what I want to do with this is make some really cool levels and layers to these magical swoops that we're going to have going on. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. There we go. I have been drinking, but can never drink too much. All right, so I'm going to just kind of play around with this at first, with this first one, just to see if there's like anything that kind of like comes to me. And I'll also slow it down a little bit because one of the brushes that I use with geometry at this level is the Z Modeler brush. And this allows me to do some really cool things manipulating the geometry, adding edge loops really quick and in specific and unique ways, doing fun extrusions. So yeah, there's lots of really cool stuff we can do to mess with this. And as soon as I can figure that out, kind of the pattern and the design that I want on these, then I can do it for the other ones. And I'm probably going to add like a few more here and there, but yeah, these four main. I'll show you some of the cool stuff at first, just so you can kind of see how the brush works, because I've used it before in previous streams, but it's been a while, so some of you probably haven't seen what you can do with this brush. So as far as extrusions go, you can really like just like take stuff away really quick. You can also select a lot of parts at once and either extrude them or take them away. You can add edge loops really quick in all kinds of different directions. And you can combine and add edge loops. To just really quickly get things done that you want to do. Oof, all the coughing again. I was sick weeks ago, and the cough has never really left. But sometimes it just rears back up. And even though I feel fine, yeah, it's just really annoying at different parts of the day. Right, so I think what I want to do is try and do some cool tapering. So I'm going to throw some edge loops close to the edge here and then extrude the poly loop that goes around all of it. I'm going to use the move brush to kind of shift some things around, even with some masking. I'm going to move some stuff around to kind of first, there we go. Do this, mask this off, swap the mask. So here we go. Now we're gonna use the move brush. I'm gonna bring these, oh no, it's not masking the thing that I want. Here. There we go. So I'm gonna use actually the pinch brush that I mentioned before. We're gonna kind of pinch in and taper the ends just a little bit. I'm going to do this. Oh, oof, I don't like how that looks. I'm going to try to keep these flat as possible and in alignment. That's one thing I'm going to have to really pay attention with at this point and with the geometry at this level is some stuff can kind of go in different directions really quick. And if I go too far, it'll be hard to kind of pull back from. So I just got to be paying attention. All right. So yeah, so now I'm going to do the same thing one more time. I think one more time. Yeah, just to get kind of this interesting kind of like layering going. I still want this to point a lot more at the end. Oh, and ads are going to start in about 3 minutes. So thank you kindly for sticking through. This will be the last ad break of the night. We'll probably work only a little bit longer after this. We'll do our wrap up. Thanks everyone for sticking around, for lurking. seeing the process. I hope you have been enjoying what's been going on. If you are watching and passing through, follow, come back, see the rest of the journey. We're also going to do some other cool projects in the future. I'm really looking forward to potentially planned projects that I have, seeing what the community wants. Those of you that are watching, you are part of this community, haven't figured out what's called yet. But whether you're an artist or not, you're going to have influence. I want to know what you want to see. Aw, head pats, thanks. Okay. Yeah, I do kind of like how that's looking. We've got to thicken that up a little bit though. So there's some cleanup to do. But generally, I am liking what's happening here. So what I probably want to do next is I want to add like an interior design or interesting flow into this. And I did see an image when I was looking at some other reference that I have that I thought was really cool. It had an example of ads are going to come, so I'm going to bring up this image, and then when you get back from ads, we'll talk about it. Thanks for sticking through. Not yet, not yet. It's funny how they say they're going to start, and they don't start right away. Can you hear my knuckles crack? It's the problem of being an artist. Probably a lot of professions that use your hands. All right, some of you might be back from ads, but it still says it's going for another 2 minutes for me. If you're back, yay! But we'll still wait just in case. We can talk a little bit about the fun McDonald's toys that have been going on right now. When I was a kid, the best McDonald's toys were the McDonald's changeables. They were like these little Transformers, and I'm a huge Transformers fan, so as a little, it was really cool. And now they've kind of brought them back with some reruns and some brand new ones. One of the new ones I thought was funny is they did like the buckets, the Halloween buckets that they do, and it transforms into a little robot dude. That's special for the people that made it through the ads quicker. Less than a minute to go. Yay! Ooh. I'm feeling it. I'm getting tired. How's everyone else's week been? Felt long for me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A lot of you were probably already back from the ads, but if you weren't, welcome back. They're over. We're going to wrap up, do a little bit more. But I like the patterns that are in here. And I also like some of the stuff that's going on the outside of this magical ring. So I want to try to see if I can incorporate some of that stuff with this. As you can see, like I've kind of got something going. It doesn't have to be exact, but I do want to create some sort of pattern. Ooh, sorry about that. On the inside here. So what I'm probably going to do is, I'm going to use this tool. I'm going to use something that is called the Q-Mesh tool, and it's a way to kind of snap geometry back in instead of extrude. And I'm going to use polygroup island so I can grab this whole surface here. I can snap it back in. And then I'm just going to use a straight up extrude. And again, use the polygroup island and kind of create a cavity here. Not too deep, but something to work with. And I want to make this its own separate group. Oh, that's not what I want to do. And there we go. So that way I can grab this inner portion whenever I want to adjust the height of it. And I'm probably just going to try to figure out some shapes that I can bring into this. And then some of these like curves, like these magical curves that are coming here, I'll probably add something at the base portions to kind of simulate that. And then put some of these triangular and rectangular shapes and curves into this cavity, but I'm not sure if I'll have that be raised shapes in there or if I want to do line work. It'll probably be easier to do some of my own shapes that I just kind of draw in, but I got to figure out what the pattern's going to be, because there's nothing kind of like that. And I've seen some kind of like wispy magic obviously in the show, but that's all really like very thin looking, and I wanted to do something that kind of has this cool pattern shape that's in the show as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So I already did this on this one. We'll work a little bit longer. Been going for almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I'll kind of do the same thing on this side that I did with the other side. I'll go a little bit quicker now because I've already done it once. And then we'll call it a night. And I think this is a pretty productive night. Kind of move some things into place that I already know I want adjusted after doing that first round. And I have already thanked everyone, and I want to thank again, only because there's a lot of new faces tonight. That's been great. And I understand why some folks that normally would be here aren't, because this is a holiday, and the fact that anybody decided to spend some of their holiday time with me is greatly appreciated. Thank you for hanging out on Valentine's Day, being Frieren's Valentine. I know she appreciates it, even though she might not show it. All right, let's see, polyloop. We're going through here trying to match up, you know, stuff that we've already done, so that's kind of challenging sometimes too. All right. Gotta do a little bit of flattening here like we did last time. Can you all hear the TV? My wife's watching the show. I don't know what it is, but it's gotta be good, whatever it is. All right, again, we're gonna use the pinch brush to kind of taper the end. Gotta be really gentle with it though. So close. I feel like I'm being too quiet. But I know that's not the case because everyone's just chilling. We're all just having a good time tonight. Relaxing. Hopefully you got something nice to drink. Maybe you got another show going in the background. Maybe you're just observing and learning a little something. Or just feeling zen. I thought about adding music to the stream, but I'm not sure if that's necessary, if that would help or not. What does everybody think about music on stream? I know Wedge, I know you like music on stream, but I'm not sure if I want to go that route. Hey, you want me to hydrate at least though, so I will hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate. Yes, yes. We all gotta hydrate, not dehydrate. That is so true, sir. All right, still working on the taper here. But yeah, I've thought about music. I'm not sure if that's what I want going on this stream in the background. I know Sleep hopped in. She was probably gone at this point, but she's one that kind of has music sometimes, but it's always in her ear because she wears headphones. I don't wear headphones during stream. I've tried having earbuds, and my earbuds don't work well with my computer for whatever reason. So the music literally would be for all of you, because I'd probably turn it off for me. Or maybe I would figure it out. But that's if it's wanted. That's probably something that I'll ask on another stream. Because I can tell we're all chilling. I don't think tonight's a feedback night. I do appreciate you, though, Radius. You've been super chatty tonight. It's been fun to talk to you and catch up a bit. I hope your exams don't stress you out too much. I do not miss taking exams, that's for sure. Oh, I don't like that. And thank you for being. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate that. I think I am okay, but I always think I'm okay. I have imposter syndrome like most people. Maybe even worse than most people. And doing this for fun has been a blast. And if folks think that I'm great, then I just really appreciate that. I'm just happy and hoping that your time here is enjoyable and that you make some friends along the way. We all do. We support each other and encourage each other in our creative endeavors, even if it isn't art stuff, you know? Aw, thank you, Carrie. I think you're nifty too. But I think we're both biased. So I don't know, man. All right, let's... Nope, not that. There we go. I don't like that color. See? Ooh, I like that color. That stands out. All right, I think we'll finish up getting this swoopy, so we'll call it for now, relatively in a similar state to the other one, and then we're going to call it a night. That's why that's working weird. Because I didn't want Q mesh, I want extrude. There we go. Now this is when we change the polygroup color. See if we can get another nice and bright one. It's different. There's no real reason to cycle through the colors like this. This is just more my personal preference. Finding something that like sticks with me. Most of the time I don't do this, but for whatever reason right now I want to find, I liked that kind of like bright yellowy color that it was before. I think I might stick with that. It's nice and bright. Okay, so let's see where we are tonight. Let me bring the color back. Bring the nice bright material again. And now you can see where we left off last time. We had like the blue curvy swoopies, but now we're getting into some more interesting detail. I'm going to try to make something more intricate as we go. I kind of have a plan for how I'd like to do that. It's going to go along with this kind of like magic look back here. So we're going to add more details coming off at the base of these swoopies. And they are going to be blue, but we might do a different blue. We'll see. But yeah, this is where we are leaving off tonight. So thank you, everyone. Again, thank you for those who are lurking. Thank you for those who stuck through the entire stream. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, W stream. Let's see some stuff. I have not ever rated anybody. Oh, I'm glad that you learned some stuff, Wedge. That's really cool. Thank you, Radius. Oh, and you're just like looking at my stuff there. That's silly of me. I've not rated anybody before, and I am interested in doing that at some point. But I don't know if I want to do that tonight. Maybe I'll talk to you more about that in the future, Wedge, because I know obviously you've done it. Always learning when Kevin goes live. I appreciate it. So here we go. Here's my full me for the last little bits. Thank you again, everyone. It's been a blast. I appreciate all of you so much. I also learn a lot when I'm doing this stuff, not just like in the streaming sense, but with my work as well. What I want to do is I want to go to my channel and I want to go into mod mode and turn off me and pause me. Yeah, I think I'm not going to worry about it this time around. I know there's a way I can do it, but I think tonight we're good. So thank you, everyone, once more. Again, my name's Kevin. Go by sKGart82 on socials, Instagram, YouTube, obviously here on Twitch every Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I stream. I will be maybe changing that up a little bit. Next month I might start doing at least one Saturday off, and that might shift to during the week, maybe Monday. So yeah, that's something that I'm thinking of, because I don't want to like lose all my Saturdays, because it does kind of like lock me in, or we have to do things only during the day, and I want to make sure I have some stuff open for the family. But mainly for now, it's every Saturday at 7 p.m. PST. So yeah, come back next week. We're going to keep working. We'll see what I have pushed, because I'm going to try to do a little bit more during the week, so that way we're not losing too much time. And I'll figure out how to do the nano mesh thing again, because I haven't done that in a while, and actually do that on stream so I can show you that, because that's really cool, how to take a piece of geometry and populate it on other geometry, and you can randomize it and do a lot of like really neat things with that. So I definitely want to brush up on that again and show that on stream. And yeah, so thank you everybody. Have a good night. Rest well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, and we will see you next time. Peace.